Hi friends, thanks for joining me for some more yoga. Grab a mat and whatever props you might have or think you might need, and let's start on our backs today. So you can come into a Shavasana type position, spread out. You make whatever little adjustments you need to so that you're as comfortable as possible, relaxing back into the floor. And start to slow down your breath. Inhaling until you're full, and exhaling until you're empty. And notice where you feel the movement of your breath. You can probably feel the rib cage expanding and releasing. Maybe even the whole torso slightly expanding from the pelvis all the way up through the shoulders. And each time you exhale, that whole area letting go a little bit more. You might even imagine that your entire body, all the way through your arms and legs and up into your head, are expanding. Each time you inhale, just a little bit more spacious, opening, lengthening. And each time you exhale, that the entire body is settling back a little bit more, letting go. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed or open them as it's useful for you throughout your practice. And let's begin by sliding one arm overhead, and we're going to try and lengthen through just one side of the body, reaching through the fingers and the toes on one side and softening and relaxing the other side. This is pretty tricky to isolate tension on one side of the body, so just do your best. Each inhale, a big reach through one side. Each exhale, softening and letting go through the other side. Last breath here. And then release. Slide that arm down. Just kind of soften and release both sides again. And then take the other arm overhead. Reaching long through fingers and toes, really active. But each exhale, see if you can soften the other side a little bit more. Inhales, lengthen through one side, really reach. Exhale, settling in. Last one here. And then release both arms down. Kind of shake out the arms and legs, let go. And then take both arms overhead and reach out through your arms and legs. Stretch through your fingers and toes. And then interlace your fingers and press out through your palms and flex your feet. And let's roll onto one side. So we're going to bring the whole body into one straight line, except that top hand can be on the floor to help steady you. So try and make sure you're not breaking at the hips, so you're not piking or bananing, but everything is in one straight line, toes pointed. Now we're going to squeeze the legs together and up, and take the legs off the floor, squeezing them together and shooting them out away from your body. Breathing deeply as you do this. See if your face can be relaxed as you do this. And then release the legs down. Now we're going to lift the legs again and lift the bottom arm. reaching long through fingers and toes, head and tail. And that top hand can just be there to steady you a little bit. This is for core in case you're not feeling that. And then release down. Let's take both arms overhead now. Pressing palms together and lift both arms and legs. Squeezing the arms and legs together, and there might be a little flopping that happens. I like to call this flounder pose. And each flop is making you stronger. These are core stabilizing muscles we're using. Let's release. Bend the bottom arm, bring your hand to your head, and then flex your feet. And we're gonna balance on the whole side of the body. Even though a lot's touching the floor, it is a little bit of a balance pose. And then bring the top leg up like tree, as high as you can on your inner leg. And see if you can balance without the use of your hand. If you need it, you can always bring it down. And then bring your first two fingers to your big toe. Grab hold of your big toe and extend this top leg part way or all the way straight. But keep bringing everything into the midline. So hips coming in. Falling is a good sign. It means you're right on the edge there. And just extend your leg as much as you can. Doesn't have to be any straighter or higher than you can get it. Breathing right where you are. Okay, bring your hand back to the floor and then lower that leg until it's about 6 inches off the floor. Reach your toes up towards your head and your heel away from your body. So you're splitting your legs as wide as you can. Breathing deeply as you do, heel away, toes towards the head. And then release the foot to the floor where it is. The hand that was on your head can reach for your foot, ankle, or calf, and then roll the other arm open so you come into a nice twist. Both shoulders releasing down towards the floor, and drop that top hip down away from the top shoulder so all 4 sides of the torso are long as you can. Either stay here or your free hand can reach down for your free foot. So bending that bottom leg, you can pick up the torso in order to grab hold of it and then draw it in. Little quad stretch, pretzel stretch. Now in a moment we're going to roll onto our backs. Some of you may be able to come through half or full lotus as you roll onto your back. Please don't force anything. These are not poses for everybody. So as you roll on your back, that top leg is going to bend and possibly come into a half lotus right up at the top of the thigh. If your hand is on that other foot, you could bring it up and around into full lotus. Don't force it. And then hug what you ended up with to your chest. Could be crossed ankles, half lotus, or full lotus. Give it a little circle or rock. And then take your legs up to the ceiling. Give them a good shake out, shaking the muscle on the bone. Kick your butt a few times. And then let's go over to the other side. And if you need to switch your orientation so you can still see the camera, go ahead. So first, whole body in a straight long line. Top hand can be on the floor to steady you. And then squeeze the legs together and up. Squeezing legs together and shooting them out. Nice deep breaths. Release the legs down. Now, take legs up and lift the bottom arm. Reaching out through fingers, through toes. And then release down. Now top arm overhead. Squeeze arms and legs together, lift up. And then release. Bend the bottom arm, hand to your head, flex your feet. Those flexed feet will help you balance. You can take the top arm off. And then come into something like tree. Slide that top foot as high up as you can. Go towards your inner thigh, but wherever you can. And bring everything into the midline. So knee open, hips in. Imagine you could do this in a narrow corridor. Then we're going to reach for the big toe, extending whatever amount you can. If you can't straighten your leg, then you can't straighten your leg. You don't need to go any further than you're able. Breathing here, wherever here is, and wobbling is normal. Can you keep your face relaxed while you're wobbling? Let's release. Hand to the floor. Lower your leg until it's about 6 inches off the floor. Kick your heel towards, away from you, toes towards the top of the head. Heel away, toes towards your head. Breathing the whole time. One more breath. Release your foot to the floor where it is. Hand that was on your head reaches for your foot, ankle, or calf. And then other arm opens out. Nice spinal twist. Breathing here. If you did so on the other side, you might add a quad stretch. Free hand reaches for free foot. Once you have hold, drop the shoulders back down. Now we're going to release. So as you roll onto your back, you might bring that top leg into a half lotus. You might thread the bottom leg up and around into full lotus. And then hug what you ended up with, however your legs are. Crossed ankles, half lotus or full lotus, something else maybe. And take a little circle or rock, feeling what's touching the floor as you move. Unwind your legs up to the ceiling, give them a good shake out, kick your butt. And then let's roll up. And come onto hands and knees, tabletop. If you want to pad your knees, you might grab a blanket or cushion or roll up the center of your mat. Make sure your hands are on something firm. Yoga mat is good. Not too much cushioning under the wrists. Really spread your fingers, hands flat and active. And we'll take a few rolls through the spine, starting by lifting the head and tail, arching. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curve. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curve. Now, inhale, arch, and send your right leg up and back. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, extend up and back. From here, exhale, shift forward and dip part way or all the way to the floor, pressing up from there. Knee in. Extend. Go forward to dip down. Try and have the elbows bend straight back. And again, it might just be a couple of inches. Press up from there. Knee in. Extend. Go forward to dip down. Press up. Knee in. Extend. Now roll the hip open, reaching toes to the sidewall. You can stay on two hands or take opposite hand back to catch your foot. Kicking your foot into your hand. And this is a balance pose, so gaze down may help. Try and lift up away from the supporting hand. Breath nice and deep. And then gently release. Arm forward, leg back. Square off your shoulders and hips. Draw the belly in to support the lower back, not overarching. And then release. Hands and knees. Sink back to child's pose. And just give that right wrist a little rub or circle. Come back up to table. So resetting, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, lift head and tail. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curve. Now, inhale, arch, and left leg goes back. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, extend. Exhale, go forward to dip down, elbows hugging the sides. Press up, knee in. Extend. Go forward to dip down, whatever amount. Press up, knee in. Extend. Let's take one more. Dip down. Press up, knee in. And then extend. Roll the hip open. Stay here or take the right hand back. Catch your foot and kick your foot into your hand. Nice slow, deep breaths, even while you're working, concentrating on balance. Let's release, arm forward, leg back. Square off hips and shoulders, draw the belly in. Pulling up away from the hand that's on the floor. And then release, hands and knees, sink back to child's pose. Give that left wrist a little circle, a rub. And then from child's pose with arms out in front of you, walk your hands over to the left and pull back through your right hip, stretching right side a little bit more. Come through center and over to the other side. Pull back through your left hip, stretching left side a bit more. Come back to center. Let's lift up through table and come back to a downward facing dog. Send the hips up and back. And you might pedal out the feet a little bit, bending one knee as you press the opposite heel towards the floor. Go back and forth a couple times, waking up hamstrings and calves, soles of the feet. As you settle into the pose, do all the work you know to do to hold this shape. And see if you can also find a sense of surrender, letting go into what you're doing. Let's walk hands and feet towards one another and hang in ragdoll. Feet hip-width apart, parallel. You can bend your knees a little or a lot. You might let arms hang, you might link elbows. You can also use support through your arms, resting elbows on thighs or hands on a couple blocks. Let's bend the knees a little more and slowly roll up, coming all the way up to standing. Step up to the front of the mat. We'll bring hands together. Feet can be together or apart. Come into your mountain pose, Tadasana. We'll take a full A-series sun salutation. Next inhale, arms sweep high. Exhale, fold forward, swan dive down. Inhale, lengthen, part way up. Step or hop your feet back. Lower down, chaturanga. And you're welcome to drop your knees as you lower. Come into your back bend, cobra or up dog, as low or high as feels right for you. We'll take an extra breath or two, this first one. And back to down dog. And let's take 5 deep breaths, either in down dog or in some other neutral shape. So you might come back to child's pose, you could come to sitting, maybe onto your forearms or knees. More important than the shape, coming back to slow breath, coming back to presence, coming back to just feeling what you're doing right now. Last deep breath in and out. Let's come back through down dog and step or hop your feet forward. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up to standing. Exhale, arms press down. Again, inhale, arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step or hop your feet back, lower down. Up dog or cobra. Back to down dog. This time from down dog, take your right leg up to the ceiling as high as you can, and then a big step forward, low lunge. So we're going to drop the back knee. You could put a blanket under it like I have. You could roll up the side of your mat if you like, or a cushion if you need. And if it's difficult to reach the floor and you have something like blocks or a couple books, you're welcome to use those. As you sink your hips forward, check on the angle of that front leg. If you didn't get your foot far enough forward, it's going to be a pretty tight angle on the knee and ankle. So take it a little further forward if you need to. Look for a stretch on the front of the left hip. Let's keep hips sinking, and then next inhale, we'll sweep the arms up. Just one breath. Release, hands to the floor. Step back through a vinyasa. High to low push-up. Up dog or cobra to down dog, and back to down dog. And again, you can skip any part of the transitions. You can move at a different pace. Just feeling what you're choosing to do. From down dog, when you're ready, left leg sweeps up, just one breath. Step forward, low lunge. If your foot doesn't make it far enough, you can pick it up and bring it there or shimmy it forward once it gets there. Maybe grab blocks, maybe pad the back knee. Sinking hips forward, looking for a stretch on the front of the right hip. Keeping hips sinking forward, sweep the arms up, inhale. Exhale, release. Step back, making your way back to down dog, and then back to a good resting pose, which could be down dog or something else. If it's useful, you might close your eyes. Last deep breath in and out. Come back through down dog and step or hop your feet forward. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up to standing. Exhale, arms press down. Let's bend the knees and come into chair, Utkatasana. Hips sink low, head reaches high, shoulders drop low. Working in all the directions you know to work. Fingers up, shoulders down, head up, hips down. All the little details you might know about this pose and your body. And with all that work, can you still access a sense of ease, What is there to let go of right here, right now? Last breath. Release, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Step or hop your feet back, lower down. Up dog or cobra, and back to down dog. Right leg sweeps up, one breath. Step forward, low lunge. Arms up, one breath. Release, hands to the floor or to your blocks. Take the hips back for a hamstring stretch with a top of the ankle stretch. So we're gonna have hands right under shoulders as high as you need them. So if it's difficult to reach the floor, come up even higher on your blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use your shin. We're going in the direction of hips square. Draw that right hip back. In the direction of a flat back. Lengthen head forward, sit bones back. In the direction of that right foot flat. You may not be able to get it flat, but just go towards that. Let's release, bend the front leg. We're gonna tuck the back toes and come to a high lunge, back leg straight. Now you can either bring your left hand to the floor or a block and extend the right arm up, going in the direction of a straight line from one arm to the other. And see if you can also feel the connection between the top of your head and that back heel, that the whole body is in a straight long line. One more breath here. Release. Hands to the floor. Make your way back to down dog. Same thing other side. Left leg sweeps up. Step forward, low lunge. Arms up, one breath. Release. Hands to the floor or to your blocks. Hamstring stretch with a top of the ankle stretch. And just remember that we are not creating shapes. It does not matter what the shape of your pose ends up looking like. Each pose is a series of directions we go towards, and in going towards those directions, we'll each meet our edge. So when we go towards those edges, there is a possibility of movement. If you go towards what's tight, it may open. But more important than any change that happens is that we get to be with this, just like this. Feeling what it's like to be in this body right now, doing this. Is there any resistance that you might let go of? Shift your weight forward. Tuck the back toes, extend back leg straight, and then plant the right hand either on the floor or a block. Lift the left arm, going in the direction of a straight line. It may or may not be straight. Go towards that. In the direction of a straight long line from your head to your back heel. Connecting the endpoints is a wonderful way of finding alignment. Just like if you took a slack rope and pulled the ends, it automatically forms a straight line. So feeling head and back heel reach away. Last breath here. Release, hands to the floor, flow through some movement transition. And then settle into a good rest, letting go of all of that. Let's come all the way through to sitting. We'll extend the legs forward and take the flesh of the sit bones back out of your way. And if the bowl of your pelvis is tipping back, you might sit up on something. A little lift under the hips can help tip it upright. So we're going to take a seated forward fold. So hands can be on the floor to start, helping to sit you tall. And then lengthen and fold. If your hands meet your feet, you could grab them. If they don't meet your feet, you can either put something around them, a strap, a sock, a towel, or go back to having hands on the floor. Each inhale, lengthen. Each exhale, fold, whatever amount. Inhale to look up. Exhale, release. Let's bring the right leg up, and we're going to cradle the lower leg and take a little rock. As you do this, you might notice the back starting to round. See if you can still stay upright. Right on the sit bones, lengthening the head as you take a little rock side to side. You can play around with opening the knee a little more, bringing your ankle a little closer to the center of the chest. Now, if it's possible for your body to do half lotus, you could bring this ankle right up to the top of the thigh for half lotus. This is not good for everybody's knees, so if it's not good for your knee, you could bring it to the sole of foot to the inner thigh instead. Now with half lotus, you might try a bind. Your right arm can reach around behind your back. You could even grab it and pull for your big toe. If you can't reach, you could hold your inner elbow or just approximate. If you have a strap, you could also use that. And then we're going to fold over this straight leg. So the other hand might grab the foot, or again, both hands could be on the floor. So you're just working with your body, finding what variation of this is appropriate, useful, interesting for you right now. So we're going in the direction of length, in the direction of folding. Inhale to look up. Exhale, release. We're going to keep the right leg where it is. Release the arms and bend the left leg just a little so that it's a nice big open bend and the heel of that left foot is in line with the midline of your body. From here, we're going to fold, which might be just the idea of folding and your head dropping. If you can't fold, you can't fold. So just go towards length, towards folding. If you did fold, you might end up with your forehead at your foot, so about that far away from you. If you did fold, make your way up. So we're going to keep the legs in the orientation that they are. Lean back, lift, and try and get your left toe to your nose. You're reaching your toe to your nose. It's not going to reach, probably not for most of us, but going in that direction and reach your right knee away from you. Toe to the nose, knee away. Now you might try coming into lotus. So these are the muscles you would use to get into lotus without your arms, if you're in headstand or an inversion. Now, if you know you can do lotus, if you did use your arms, you can go ahead and come into it. And don't force it. Again, you might be in crossed ankles, half lotus, or full lotus. And we're going to try and lift the hips up off the floor. So hands are going to come to the floor, a little lean forward. So even if you have short arms like me, this is still possible. So we're going to try and lift the legs towards the chest. It might look like this, like you're trying but nothing's happening. You're still engaging all the same muscles, so just do your best. Lifting up, breathing deeply. And then release. We're going to switch sides. If you want to try the Lotus Vinyasa, I'll just show it. You're welcome to try it. Otherwise, you're just going to unwind your legs, maybe give your ankle a little rub and get ready for the other side. So the Lotus Vinyasa, you would pop up onto your knees, elbows go as low as you can towards your pubic bone. Lean forward to lift the legs. Swap them out. And then you could take a vinyasa or some movement. And make your way back to sitting. So we're back to a staff pose, and we'll go to the other side. So left leg comes up. Little rock side to side. Bringing the lower back in, sitting tall, tall as you can. You might bring the foot closer towards the center of the chest, a little bit more of an opening. And then towards half lotus or back to Janu Shirshasana, so the foot to the inner thigh. You can go towards a bind here, reaching the left arm around behind the back. You might reach the inner elbow, maybe use a strap, maybe you can get it all the way to that big toe. And then fold, and you could use the other hand on the foot or the floor. Now this is quite a bit of pressure on the thigh, the ankle into the thigh. I remember when I first started doing this, I thought, oh my God, it kills. And then a teacher said, you know, you're probably not gonna hurt anything. And just taking the fear element out of the sensation, now I just love it. It's like deep tissue massage. I'm getting shiatsu on that right thigh right now. Inhale to look up. Exhale, release. Unwind the hands, keep the left leg where it is, and bend the right leg just a little. So heel is in line with the midline, knee is nice and open, and we're gonna fold whatever amount is possible for you. It might be just a slight lean. We're going in the direction of length, in the direction of folding. Now, if lotus is a pose that you are working towards, this is a wonderful preparatory sequence that you might do to increase the possibility of lotus. And it may not be in the cards for some bodies. Some knees do not like this, and it's not a good idea. So please listen to your body. Inhale to look up. Exhale, release. We're going to lean back. Pick up the legs as they are. Reach your right foot towards your nose, toe to the nose. Other knee away. Keep going. And then you might try a couple getting into lotus without the hands. A few thwops. If you know you can do it with the use of your hands, you can come into it. Now legs will be as they are, crossed ankles, half lotus, full lotus, hands to the floor, lean forward, lift up. Let's take 25 rapid inhales and exhales this time. Okay, so hands flat, lift as much as you can, don't worry how much it is, and in and out through the nose quickly. Okay, call that 25. You can unwind the legs, give yourself a little ankle massage, or try the Lotus Vinyasa, or take a regular Vinyasa. If you're trying the Lotus Vinyasa, shift up onto the knees, hands about shoulder width apart. You can turn the fingers forward, out, or back. Elbows go in towards the pubic bone as far in as you can. Lean forward to lift. Unwind. And take any movement that helps you integrate what you've just done. My left ankle's a little tight. I'm going to pedal out a little. Let's come all the way through to sitting and back onto our backs. Bring your knees in, take a little circle or rock with your knees. Let's drop the feet to the floor. We'll take a bridge pose. Feet hip width apart, parallel. Press your feet down to lift the hips high. Once your hips are high enough, interlace your fingers behind your back. Shrug your shoulders underneath you. Take your arms out of your way, roll down and rest. Really resting in between your back bends. There's such a nice release that's possible after that effort. You can rest here until you feel like coming up again. If you feel like coming up again, you can do bridge, what we just did, or half wheel or full wheel, or any other arm or leg variation you know or want to try. Whenever the pose feels complete, come down and rest again. If you have more back bends in you, keep going. There's no rush. If you are finished, you can move on to a counter stretch. Happy baby, knees to chest, a forward fold, or something else. Happy baby is with hands on the insides of the feet, pressing the knees towards the floor. Great release after back bending. You might keep the legs bent or straighten them one at a time or together. Another great release after back bending is to take legs straight and hold somewhere behind the backs of the legs, and they could be a little bent as well, and then pull on the feet, ankles, or calves to roll the back up and down off the floor. And again, this may not work for everybody, but if it works for you, it could be a wonderful massage for the muscles on either side of the spine, the erector muscles. We are getting ready for Shavasana. So now is a time to take any last stretch or pose that you need. If there's some part of your body that could use a little extra attention, you could also stop the video and keep going, doing whatever feels right for you right now. then when you are ready to come into your final rest, Shavasana, take your time getting as comfortable as you can. So if you want to put your socks on or grab a blanket or a little support under your knees. Take your time getting settled. A little self-massage could feel good. Your feet, your hands, your face. I put another video online with a face massage that I just love. I might try that sometime. You could put support under the thighs or knees if your lower back doesn't feel great in Shavasana. A little support could feel good. Take your time getting comfortable. It usually only takes a few seconds to make yourself a little more cozy. It's worth it. And then when you're ready to settle in, you might take a couple of extra deep breaths, helping your body release back into the floor. And then let go of the control of your breath. And with Shavasana, we just set up the conditions that may result in a deep release. It can be a very peaceful experience after your practice. And for whatever reason, sometimes that's not the experience. Sometimes there's agitation or unrest, or body, mind has a hard time settling, and that's okay too. When we have a practice, we just show up and we do our practice, and the results change over time. So just allowing whatever's here for you right now to be here. You can slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And let this movement increase gradually through your wrists and ankles. Eventually stretching through your arms and legs in a nice big full body yawn. When you're ready, bring your knees in. Roll to one side, pausing there for a moment. Use your hands to help you up to sitting. Coming back to a comfortable cross-legged position. We'll take hands together at the heart. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks so much for practicing with me. I don't know who's watching these. This is a weird thing to be a yoga teacher and be teaching in this way instead of the way I'm normally used to. I love teaching so much. It's really, really hard for me to not have my students and to not have the interaction that I'm used to. So thank you for those of you that are watching this right now and practicing, because it matters to me. This is what I do. This is what I've always done. This is my livelihood and the best way I know to be of service in the world. So I'm getting emotional. That you are watching my videos, that you are getting value out of these matters to me. So thank you. And please write me if you have specific requests. I'm just throwing out there things that I think might be interesting, and I have a lot to offer, and happy to offer what is of interest to you. Thank you. Have a great day.